In this video, we are going to be removing this massive sort of section here. The shell tool typically works well for this, and the shell tool, I'll show that to you guys, is right here. Now, you can run into some problems when we do it the way we are doing it. I'm going to show you real quick. You typically can do this, just this, that's 10 units. And it typically does a good job. You can see down here it's doing a fine job. Up here we're running into a bit of a problem. We have this little lip hanging out, and it's not the same as this part. So the shell tool is not going to work. Also, this member here is going to be 10 units thick already. We're going to mirror this, and it's going to be a total of then, what, 20 units. So we don't want that. We want this unit to end up being 5 units here. What we're going to need to do is not use the shell tool. So don't worry if you weren't able to follow that. What we want to do is actually create a sketch here. I'm going to create it on this front face here and swivel around. And I am going to get, for starters, the arc tool. I'm going to select the point right up here, select the point right down here. Move this out, and if you do this just right, you can actually drag this so that it's fully constrained. Whoops, whoa. If I get back to my front view, what's going on here? Here we are. I'm going to get this coincident constraint though, and I am going to select this center point of the arc and make it on this origin. And it's going to then make this fully constrained. If it's not making this fully constrained, I don't know why this keeps moving around on me, what you're going to need to do is get the coincident constraint and select this point here on the arc and make it so it's the same point as this line here, then potentially this vertical line here. It should get it fully constrained. Same thing down here, or possibly right over here at this juncture, so that this intersection point between these angled line, this horizontal line, is on the arc. Next thing we're going to do is stick with the arc tool, and I am going to draw an arc right over here. And I'll do this one a little more sloppy, so if you're struggling with that first one, you can actually get this dead on right away. See, this point's not even on the line. This point's not where we want it. We can go ahead and we can get this all set up so it's perfect. I'm going to get the coincident constraint. I'm going to select this arc, or that point, excuse me. Then I'll select this point up here. Makes them both the same. I'm going to get this point and this point to be the same by clicking on this point and clicking on that point. Then what I'm going to do is select this point. And if I go out here, I'm noticing that I can't click on anything. But what I can do is actually, as weird as it sounds, select this line. I want to make sure when I do that, that I do not select this point or this point. I just want to select that right there. And I notice this is off in no man's land. So I'm going to I don't know why it's giving me any sorts of trouble. Oh, I think I was just off kilter on my sketch, my view. That's fine. So I have those two arcs drawn, fully constrained. Fantastic. The next thing we're going to do is draw a line from this arc down to this arc here. And what I'm looking to do is make this line 5 units from this line. And I want it to be perfectly vertical. If it's not perfectly vertical for you, what you can do is you can get the parallel constraint. You can select this line, and then you can select any of these vertical lines over here on the left, and it should take care of that for you. You could also get the perpendicular constraint, make it perpendicular to horizontal line on the bottom. That's probably a little less convenient though. Then, finish sketch. I'm going to swivel. I'm going to extrude, and it didn't take anything. So what I want to do, typically it did in the past, is one last thing here. I'm going to get my line tool, I went back into my sketch. I'm going to connect this point all the way down to this point. And what that did for me is it created a closed loop so that I can actually extrude this feature down and through it. Click the green checkbox, swivel around. Now when I go to extrude, I notice that this little area in here is shaded, this area is shaded. I am going to go a total depth of, I believe it is 50. I want to remove, and it knows to automatically flip back. If it doesn't automatically flip backwards for you, click this little opposite direction arrow right here, and it should. Now, what you should see is this area looks proper, this area looks all proper. It should look a little more on the thin side like you see here, not like you see in the image. And then over here, it looks proper as well. We'll come back in the next video. We're going to add the whole feature and take care of everything you see over here. I think for the most part, we've got everything done on this main center area. So we don't need to worry about that anymore.